Alright, it is 9:54 a.m. and I did have an attempt to buy with HMBL, but that was about it. It feels like maybe being a Monday, I'm just kind of rusty and just not very, I guess, aggressive, maybe a little hesitant, which I don't think is too bad, but I did have an interest with HMBL and this one actually worked out. It just, wasn't really the best because it doesn't have an amazing daily chart. As you can see, it looks dead, but this one is just known to do random morning panic bounce plays, which are actually pretty nice. And I was interested in it. I did see the drop from the 13.5s. It got as low as 12, so 13 to 12, that's like an 8% downtrend. And I drew a trend line from, I believe, I guess it doesn't really show anymore because the chart moved, but if I had to guess, it might have been off of this candle and this candle. And right when it looks like it was breaking through it, I did place an order at 940 to buy 4,000 shares at 12.2, which would have been pretty close to that $10 risk level that I'm trying to trade. And that was right here at 940, and I placed an order at 12.2. Now, what I did was that maybe not too long after I placed the order, I got out of it. I canceled the order, thinking that maybe I could try to get in at a better price. But what happened was is that it had a jump, and I can't really do anything to avoid something like that. And even if I kept my order at 12.2, I don't know if I would have even have been able to have been executed because it did jump from this 12 level to the 12.3s, and then it started trading back and forth. It did have one dip here to 12.2, but this wasn't really realistic to be a part of because that was because of the fact that somebody sold a whole bunch of shares. And yeah, I don't know if I would have been executed even if I didn't cancel the order and try to maybe get in at a lower price. It just had that pretty big jump, and it did kind of drop to a support level off of here and off of here, which was also support. So I did have that in mind that it wasn't like completely random. It was playing off of a level. It did break the trend line. It just had a big jump, so I missed it for that reason. And it did get pretty high. It got as high as 12.7, so this would have been pretty profitable, but ideally it didn't have a jump like that. I was also looking at DPLS for like a high day breakout. I was thinking that, it's been beaten down, but maybe it can try to continue a reversal here. And it did kind of do it, but I just hesitated with this one because it had such a wide spread. I could have been in at 507, I believe, and it did get as high as this 51, if not 52 level. But the problem with this one was is that when it was like around here, right? And 507 is at the ask, the bid would be like 495, which is huge. That's a wide spread. And even if it's superficial and somebody sells and won't actually go to 495, somebody will catch it and not let it get to that level. I just didn't really feel comfortable for that reason. And it did uptrend a little. It's holding VWAP and it can totally continue to turn around, but I don't like how it trades with the spread, and there have been some really big sellers at the ask. As for NWBO, this one was interesting in that it could have broken this multi-day high level right here at this 97 level. It didn't really do it, which is fine. It doesn't have the best volume, but who knows? Maybe this thing can offer a nice dip buy, or maybe at some point it might try to break after that level some other time in the future. And ABML, I've been watching this. Maybe this can break VWAP right here and continue something. Maybe like an inverse head and shoulder head and the shoulder here. This could be possible. I might be looking at ABML. It doesn't have the best volume, but that's what I have for right now. I think I forgot to go over TGGI. This one was also a morning panic bounce play, and it was similar to HMBL because as you can see, it had a drop here as low as 12. And when you look at a multi-day chart, I believe 12 was like a significant level that played off of it. And you can see out here it was resistance. Here it broke past it and made a nice move. It was a pretty important level, so when it dropped to that level, I was interested in it, but this one trades also with a spread. It's kind of ugly. Not as bad as KG, but pretty ugly. And my idea was that, it was starting to uptrend and all. And I was thinking, all right, well, I'll have an interest if maybe it does this move from the 12 level as high as the 12.8s. And then it kind of drops back, but not break the day low. I had an interest to buy 25,000 shares at 12.3, but As you can see, I never did that. It decided to hold itself right here and eventually make a move past VWAP. So this one was actually pretty impressive. I just didn't like the price action, the way it traded, so I never gave it any money for that reason. And yeah, I forgot to mention that one. And yeah, I'll keep looking at ABML, but I don't really like it that much. Okay, I want to make an update as to where I am right now. As for HMBL, maybe if it has a drop to 12.2 with significant volume and it looks clean, I might consider it. Otherwise, this one might be done. TGGI, this one would have to drop pretty harshly for it to be something that I would consider. It's not really at a ideal point for maybe just a small dip, maybe under VWAP, and it turns around. It's not really good. I'm actually probably not going to be too interested with TGGI anymore, unless maybe it breaks the day high. Even that's not very nice. Actually, I will probably get rid of TGGI. There's really nothing else that I would be interested in. It did offer a morning panic bounce play, but that was about it, honestly. ABML can maybe continue the uptrend, but I don't know. I just don't like it that much. NWBO, this one could be nice if it decides to break the day high. Now, I would probably be patient and wait for it to maybe start taking out the people at 97 before I would consider entering. So, unless something like that is happening, I'll just continue to let it be there. And DPLS could be a dip buy to consider, and maybe an official breakout over this 51 level. And there's been this big bidder right here for a while. This one could actually continue to do something unlike TDGI, because when you look at the chart, it looks like it could actually, maybe try to do another baby run up. While TGGI just looks like it's going to die and fall off a cliff and not necessarily turn around. So that's really all I have for right now, and I'll make an update later. Okay, it is 10:39. I just sold just a few seconds ago. Let's see how this can go. This thing is just too rich for me. This is a crazy spread, 72 by 75. I just sold at 71. And it looks like it's starting to run out of volume, but this thing can just, just kick in the gear again and start uptrending. So yeah, let's just continue to see with this one. Wow, it's all the way back at 675. I wonder if somebody's gonna actually take that. I guess I was pretty fine with my sell there. And I actually traded a $10 risk level here too, despite how low float this one is and how much of a spread it is. Yeah, this thing's trading pretty sketchy, but I mean, it's actually making a move. And it's not sketchy like KG. It's just sketchy because it's just a really low flow OTC. I mean, I don't know how low the float is, but you can just tell by the way it trades. But anyway, I was in at 1037 right here at 67, and it was kind of, nerve-wracking because 67 was at the ask, and I believe the bid was like 63 or something like that. It was a pretty big difference, but I did get in because it looked like it was trying to break the 67 level, which was resistance all the way back here. And the idea was is that it wasn't just going to break 67 and make a move towards the upside, but 70 was also a support, not a support level, an important level to break past if it was going to do it too. So maybe it would have momentum where, because it is such a low flow OTC, it breaks 67 and then it tries to break 70, which was that previous resistance level, and then it can make a really nice move towards the high, which it did, and it's still doing it, although it is just very sketchy trading this because of the way, it is with the spread and everything. But yeah, that's why I got in at 67 again at 1037, which was right here at 1037. It did work out. It didn't have to. It could have failed and I could have lost, and I would have gone out of the trade if it were to have broken this 6 level right here. If it were to have broken it, I would have had a sell order. Worst case scenario, I'm out at 5, and I think that would have meant a $10 risk level. And yeah, I mean, this thing is doing it. Kind of scary when it's just doing it at the ask and the bid is not really catching up with it, but I did sell at 71 at 1039, which was this volatile candle right here. I sold at 71. I did get as high as 78, but that would have been pretty hard, I think, to sell into, or maybe I just wasn't that lucky. Perhaps if I waited a few seconds more, I would have sold into that higher uptrend. But I'm actually pretty happy with myself. For what it was, it's just a very hard stock to trade again because of that low flow. But I'm not sure how much I made off of this trade. I will look later. And DPLS did make a move above this 51 level. I just don't like the way it did it. I wish it had more volume. If it had more volume, I probably would have been a part of it. It was just kind of iffy the way it looked like it was going to do it, and then somebody dumped a whole bunch of shares, and then it popped off, and then it is trying to be above the level. So in theory, it is working. I just don't like how it doesn't have that much volume. NWBO never got to 97 in that, it didn't break past it or anything like that. But if it does it later, I'll still be interested in it. It just, maybe won't do it right now, perhaps. No interest with ABML, and HMBL isn't doing anything. So that might be about it. I'll just continue to watch and learn from this price action, and I'll make an update later. Okay, it is 6:53 p.m. and I'm here to call it off. Overall, I am up on the day just a little, $2.40 trading PDPG, and this one fell really hard. My trade was way back here, my sell at 71, and that was my worry with this type of OTC that has a very, 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 very small floats and a crazy, freaky, just shoot up in the sky price action, and then it just sells off. This one was a little different in that it had a crazy move towards the upside, but it had another I guess previous move back here, but I've seen this a lot with a lot of OTCs that just have a move towards the upside and then they sell off the same day, if not the next day. And that was clearly the case, and I did not really make that much from this stock because of the fact that it was such a small, flow stock that I didn't want to, throw in a whole bunch of shares with the fact that this thing had like a crazy spread. As you can see back here, it was, 6 by 6.9, which is huge. That's like a 10% spread. So I traded the right amount of shares that have a $10 risk level. And when I was in it, worst case scenario, it was going to break this 6th level and I would be trying to get out at 6, but because it has a spread, maybe I get executed at 5. And if I were to have sold at 5 because the setup didn't work out and I got out at 6, or at least tried to, worst case scenario with slippage, I'm out at the bid, which might be at 5 or something like that, I would have lost $10, and that would have been according to my $10 risk level. If it was a normal stock that with a regular flow, because it is at this price level, I would have traded 10,000 shares, right? Because that would have been a $10 risk level. But as you can see, if it were to have failed, I would have lost 170 bucks, which is not ideal at all for where I am at the moment. So yeah, that was the case with that. It did sell off, and as for the other trades, HMBL broke under, but I lost interest when it didn't come back near the panic bottom. After a while, it's just no longer the same setup if it does it much later. And it wasn't even clean looking anyway. Nothing with ABML. I mean, a dip under VWAP, sure, but nothing too nice. Maybe you can try to turn around at some point and I can be long, like a high or low setup. NWBL never broke this level of 97. It tried. It even looked like it was perhaps going to near the end of the day, but it didn't do it. Nothing too crazy with DPLS. It can maybe continue to try to uptrend over the next few days. And then I would make it a morning panic bounce point. Not too ideal because this is like, I don't know, the 15th run up that it's done. And yeah, that's about it. Just a small trade there. I traded according to my $10 risk level. And obviously, I would have liked if I made more, but the thing was just a crazy low float stock. I didn't want to, trade an unnecessary risk for that reason. That's all I have for today.